This pre-Columbian theory suggests the disease was already present, having lurked in Europe for centuries, masquerading as leprosy and other skin ailments. Archaeologists have found evidence. Skeletons from medieval English monasteries show characteristic bone damage, dated long before Columbus. According to this version, the expedition's return was not the cause, but a catalyst. It merely unmasked a silent, old enemy that had already been living among Europeans. But why did the outbreak explode specifically in the late 15th century? Perhaps we are dealing with a perfect storm. A more aggressive American form of the bacterium might have met a local European strain, creating a deadly hybrid. Or perhaps the issue wasn't the bacterium itself, but society. The Renaissance was a time of wars, urban growth, mingling populations, and sexual freedom. The old microbe simply found the perfect environment for proliferation. And it didn't hesitate. The first wave of the disease was unlike what we know today. It was a swift and brutal killer. Imagine the scene. Suppurating ulcers covered the entire body from head to toe. Flesh rotted alive. Noses, lips, and genitals literally fell off. Excruciating pain was constant, and death came within a few months. It was a public spectacle of human bodily decay. Italy became the epicenter of this hell. In 1494, French King Charles VIII invaded Naples. His army was a melting pot of nations: French, Swiss, Germans, Spanish, an ideal incubator. When the campaign failed, the mercenaries dispersed to their homes. Each soldier carried a biological weapon within their body. They returned to their villages and cities, spreading the contagion across Europe. Thus, the Neapolitan disease ceased to be merely a nickname. It became the starting point of a pandemic. Every mercenary became a walking epidemic. Within 5 years, the disease had swept across all of Europe. Within 10, it reached Russia, India, and then China. The world was unprepared. Back then it was called the Great Pox, and the name was no exaggeration. It was unlike the silent, hidden threat it later became. It was a loud, public rotting alive. The body was covered in ulcers that penetrated to the very bone. People's noses and lips literally fell off, transforming their faces into masks of horror. Pain was a constant companion from which there was no escape. Put yourself in the shoes of a 16th century person. You don't know about bacteria. You see a new plague affecting people not through dirty water or a rat bite, but through an act of love. The only conclusion you can draw: it's divine punishment. Punishment for lust, for original sin unleashed. Syphilis became the first disease that branded not only the body but also the soul. It became a visible sign of an invisible sin. And this sign was surprisingly democratic. The disease made no distinction between hovel and palace. It mowed down peasants in the fields, merchants in the markets, and cardinals in the Vatican. According to rumors, even the family of Pope Alexander VI Borgia did not escape its grasp. Kings and artists, mercenaries and bishops, all were equal before this decay of the flesh. For a class-based society where noble blood was considered protection, this was an unprecedented blow. Humanity, in despair, rushed to find a cure. Doctors tried everything, from prayers and bloodletting to diets of dried vipers. They were willing to try any experiment to stop this nightmare. And eventually, they found what they believed to be a cure. However, this cure was pure poison, a poison that often killed more quickly and painfully than the disease itself.